Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max.
Welcome, everyone. We are the Geek Patrol, and our microphones don't have a stun setting. Today's episode of Geek Tank Radio is brought to you by the Labor Union of Handrail Installers in the Star Wars universe. I mean, as far as I can tell, they've been on strike for the last 300 years. It's
easily. I thought they went the same way as the telephone sanitizers.
Okay, yeah. They don't keep busy. Either they got great contracts and they don't, whatever.
They ain't got no handrails in that whole universe. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, Ahsoka could have used one last week. Ooh, too soon. Okay.
No.
How are you going to put a guardrail on the side of a cliff?
Hey, it's observation or I don't know.
Yeah, well, welcome to Lookout Mountain. Just look out.
Absolutely. Yeah. So welcome to Geek Tank Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson, here with my friends Brandon Olmstead and Allan Gilbreth and our buddy Max over there behind the glass. And they're ramping things up just when you start.
I'm not behind the glass. I'm off the cliff.
Okay, well,
all right, Ahsoka.
As long as you're keeping
all right, dude, you've been over the edge for years.
Yeah. So keep those buttons pushed at the right time. You can go wherever you want. But, Ahsoka, okay, I started to doubt Dave Filoni. Allan, you said it before. You said that occasionally we'll get these throwaway episodes. I was mostly just saying, okay, let's get down to business here on these first couple of episodes. I just wanted a little more activity. And she actually smiled in this last episode. Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Okay. Yeah,
she didn't want to break her makeup, so
We're gonna speculate a little bit about Ahsoka in a minute because there is pretty interesting news breaking about episode 5. But hey, you guys, I want to announce something that now very new listeners won't even know what we're talking about here. But today is a great opportunity to bring back the return of the Random Roundup. We have a story that I sent you the link you got, and we agreed this could not be missed. I don't even know if it's geeky. I guess it's kind of
it's geeky.
But
it's geeky enough.
Years ago, one of our at least one of my favorite segments on Geek Tank Radio was the Random Roundup, where you could bring any story to the table. And we unpack it together, and it may or may not have anything to do with geek stuff.
We really should just do that as digital supplemental material.
I'm thinking we bring that back in a big way because that was always some of the most interesting material. So we'll bring that back later today. Well, you guys, so Ahsoka episode 4 came out, and folks, if you don't want spoilers, you better just tune out and listen later because we are.
Turn off the internet because they went crazy. Yeah.
Well, okay, I will admit, I need a little bit of an update. Where is Ahsoka? Because she fell off this cliff. She woke up in this dimensional thing. It looked familiar from Rebels or something, but I don't remember exactly.
She is in between.
Okay,
she is at that place in between.
Does that mean she collided with a rock down below, or is she?
No, that means that she is between galaxies, hyperspace. She has left reality and is sitting, honestly, in the nexus between all of these. And apparently she's about to have a lovely little chat with some guy named Anakin.
Yeah. The good Anakin, because now, that's the thing. This is a redeemed Anakin, right?
He is.
Not according to the music.
No, they're giving you the music because of who he is.
Right.
But he is, yes.
This is
post Death of the Emperor Anakin.
Right. So he's redeemed, and which is a dynamic I didn't think about when we saw Hayden Christensen listed in the credits and things. I thought, this is going to be a flashback sequence.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to see a young Ahsoka. Didn't occur to me that they're going to do it this way. It was a pleasant surprise.
Do you want spoilers?
I don't want spoilers about next episode, Brandon. But if you're new to Geek Tank Radio, you should know early on I did predict that Thrawn would come in on episode 5, and I stand by that prediction. But Brandon, at least give us some outlines about what's going on with episode 5 because it's pretty noteworthy.
Okay, so it popped up on a couple of the different sites that there will be a theatrical run for episode 5.
Holy smokes.
In 5 major cities in the U.S. and 3 international.
Did they say which city? I guess it's like New York.
Well, you get Seattle, New York, L.A. basically, if you go to buy tickets and you tell them you're in Memphis, they go,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah. That's interesting. So it's going to release just for that day, or are they doing just
It is a one-time event. It is happening about 3 hours before it premieres on Disney Plus on that Tuesday. And there's also going to be, I think they said, like 40 minutes of supplemental stuff that'll be at the end or at the beginning of it that has nothing to do with the episode, but has to do with like the makings of and everything like that.
Interesting.
So,
wow. I wonder what those tickets will go for, because there's people that want.
yeah.
It's
I mean, that the robot, the bots and everything else have already, scooped up all the good seats and are probably selling them for a premium.
I wonder, though, if it's going to be the kind of thing. We know that there's certain events where you literally have to surrender your cell phone, or you could be fine or whatever. I have to believe this is going to be kind of like those Comic-Con panels where, you cannot, even though people do, like, when they make a big announcement or something. But obviously it's saying, too, that this is not going to be a 30-minute episode.
You're going to get at least an hour worth of entertainment here.
I would hope so, yeah.
If not, if they're selling tickets for what is basically a 34-minute episode, somebody's getting screwed.
Yeah, that's a little much. So I did have a prediction I want to throw at you guys.
Right.
Okay, and I sent this to the group chat. So basically the plot is they're going to another galaxy, which, as far as I know, I maybe they've done it in the books, but I've never seen them do that in the movies. My prediction is they're going to go. I think Thrawn is hiding in the Milky Way galaxy, our own galaxy, a long time ago. However long, they don't really tell us how long ago Star Wars was from our perspective, but I think they're going to find a way to make it. Either they're going to overlay our galaxy in there. What do you think? I think it'd be a fun meta kind of thing to do.
Well, I don't think that they're going to do that, because there are 2 satellite galaxies that we know of that one of the things that they talk about is the unknown region.
Okay.
And there have been various species from the unknown regions that have shown up in Rebels and in Clone Wars and Resistance. And they come from Fire Fist, which is one of the galaxies that is a satellite galaxy to the core dimensions of Star Wars.
Okay. We'll probably speculate a little longer on that, and then I can't wait to get to our random roundup. You're listening to Geek Tank Radio. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
You're listening to Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max. Targ burgers are now on the menu. The Geek Patrol is back.
Was Allan Gilbreth on everything on the menu?
Yeah, and I don't like when you add the jalapenos, Alan. They already have enough kick.
It's a gluten-free.
Absolutely.
That's all Max cares about. And welcome back to Geek Tank Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmstead and Allan Gilbreth and our buddy Max over there behind the glass. And if you're just tuning in, stand by for a possible spoiler. Possible spoilers to be discussed. We are talking about Ahsoka. We talked a little bit about episode 4. Episode 5 is coming up this week, and wow, it's getting a theatrical release, which there's 8 episodes this season.
Right.
We predicted episode 5 was going to be a big game changer. If it's getting a theatrical release, obviously it's a big deal. But off air, Brandon, you taught me something I've never known. I want to just put it out there. I predicted, because the big plot point is Thrawn is off in some other galaxy. We're assuming Ezra's with them as well. And I put it out there, wouldn't it be fun if they're actually in the Milky Way galaxy and in some subtle way they reference that? Well, you told me, for one thing, there's already a book out there that shows Chewie and Han Solo winding up on Earth. But what really struck me is you said that hyperspace in Star Wars is much different than what it is in Star Trek. It's a speed. It's like warp 1 is the speed of light. Warp 9 is 9 times the speed, something like that. But you're saying this is a totally different thing in Star Wars.
So check it out.
And I didn't know that.
And I brought it up just so I don't say it wrong.
Okay.
In universe, it really isn't a speed. The way hyperspace works in Star Wars is treated like Tesseract travel. A Tesseract is a fold in space-time, which reduces travel between 2 points by cutting down the space between them. Which is why,
you warp space.
Yeah.
Isn't that a similar thing to the TARDIS in Doctor Who?
It's exactly the same thing.
Okay, well that explains
Dune,
why.
where they
yeah.
fold space.
Right.
Yes.
That
Yeah.
explains why they can go from one planet to another all the way across the galaxy in like 30 seconds or
Well,
so.
I mean-
I didn't know that. That's
Well,
interesting.
meanwhile, it's like you think about it. Parsecs is not speed either. It's distance.
Is that an actual space distance? I mean, because I've heard parsecs used in NASA conversations. I didn't know if they were just geeks or if that was.
I
An
think
actual
those are
measurement.
geeks. Just
They were very
Yeah.
geeky.
Is that an actual unit of measurement?
Yeah,
Alan, or
it's
no?
it's a Star Wars unit of
Yeah,
measurement.
it's not a legitimate one.
Well, we know NASA types are watching Star Wars, and I mean they never miss an opportunity
And
to
it-
name things.
you know,
People that
after
work for a
geeky
space
stuff.
And I'll just
agency
say
watch
this.
Star Wars.
Those of you who were so angry at Disney Star Wars that you boycotted Solo, you would know how parsecs work because
Yes.
Han shows you how to cut down your parsecs.
Oh, that's how he was able to make the Kessel or the
Kessel Run, yeah.
Yes.
Run. Okay,
And the horrible thing that happens to the Falcon when he does it.
right.
He broke it.
He
Lando
did.
was not happy.
No.
Do you guys have any predictions? I mean, it's fun to kind of
right.
guess what we could look for in episode 5. My only thing was just like I said, I think it'll be the Milky Way, but other than that, I got
Well,
nothing.
you know,
What do you got?
I don't think there's a reason to bother with the Milky Way because the minute you bring any form of reality into these shows, there is an entire legion of people out there ready to whine about it.
Well, who cares? They're
It's
going to
not-
whine
well,
about anything.
Well, I understand, but at least give them something imaginary to whine about as opposed to something legitimate.
Right.
okay.
Well, one thing that we're going to go ahead and say is that Star Wars fans, and I am one of them, we have a problem latching onto things in a story that do not have any resonance, and we miss the big stuff because of it. We've gone for 4 episodes where people were theorizing on who Merrick was. Is that Ezra Bridger? Is that Galen Merrick? Is it Starkiller? No. It's a resurrected Dathomir witch, which is why when he got cut in half in episode 4, he just turned to green mist.
Yep. He kind of went, and was
Yeah,
kinda
that
done.
That's what happens
interesting.
to Night Sisters when they die.
Yes.
Right.
And yes, just because they're called Night Sisters does not mean they have to be female.
So there are Night Brothers.
Well,
No, I didn't know that either. I didn't know.
Savage Opress, Darth Maul's brother, he's a Night Sister. That's why when he got
Okay.
killed,
I didn't know
he
that. That's
turned into green
interesting.
dust.
And the Weird Sisters, you don't have to be, if you're a member of that band in Harry Potter, there's men in that band too. So, okay. Boy, we're learning a lot of stuff, but you still haven't given me a prediction, Brandon.
Okay, my prediction is that we will see Anakin help train Ahsoka via being a blue Force ghost into resuming her emotions so that she can better connect with Sabine.
Question.
Yes.
Does that mean her lightsaber colors will change?
No,
No.
because she still won't be a Jedi. He will teach her, though, to embrace her emotions because it was his love for his son that brought him back to the light side.
Okay.
The kyber crystals in her lightsaber are not going to change just because she has emotions.
I feel like that's a pretty safe predict. Okay. I mean, no, that makes sense.
Well,
I mean,
you
but
know,
it's cool
It's
that
a
he's
big
taking
one.
on this
All
role
right,
as a
I'm
mentor.
going to disagree with Force Ghost.
Okay.
He's not going to have a little glowy thing around him.
Oh, I will.
He is going to be flesh and blood in between.
He is going to full on blue ghost you away, Alan.
I hope so. I'm going to go. He's going to be a little more flesh and blood.
Wait, who else? If we're going down that path, will the witch be able to see him? Will those 2 fallen Jedi? We're assuming those are fallen Jedi. Those 2 or Sith. Will they be able to see him? I mean, if you're a Force user, you can see him, right?
Well, I mean, if they show themselves to you.
Well, I'm just saying because I feel like that.
Yeah.
I always forget his name. Who is the?
If Anakin wants to reveal himself to Balin's skull, he will reveal himself to Balin's skull, but that does not mean he's necessarily going to see him.
I see that guy turning back to the good. I think that guy's going to flip.
I
Personally,
think Balin's going to be dead by the end of all this.
well,
I
I
mean,
mean,
you have to
the
kill him.
actor in
They
real
have
life
to
did
kill him.
pass away, so they'll have to figure that out. But I still think he's going to redeem himself, and so he already has shown that he doesn't want to kill Jedi.
Yeah.
He's got a soft spot for them. He
he
didn't let
wants
his
to
apprentice.
turn them.
Yeah.
He needs them
Yeah,
to create a new order.
It's true. He didn't want to kill Ahsoka. He just threw her off a cliff.
Yeah, but that's hard. I mean, you can do a lot for if she's as good as she needs to be. She'll find a way out. We know she didn't die, and it was over water too, Brand. I mean, she She had a great fighting
She
chance.
got enough of a concussion to end up between worlds, Joe.
Well,
You know that's not her body right there, right? That's all spirit. That's why Anakin looks normal.
Okay. It's going to be good, whatever. And I'm really excited. This whole theatrical release is a new tool. We needed something different, and we're finally getting it, which is cool.
It's true.
So hats off to whoever's responsible for that. Okay, speaking of things that we need, I can't wait. When we come back, we're going to get into our random roundup.
You're listening to Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max. Allan Gilbraith doesn't need Horcruxes. The Geek Patrol is back.
I mean, you got a surplus, Alan. I don't even know what you do. I don't really want to know. But he's going to be around long after us, that's for sure.
Oh, well.
And welcome
Somebody
back.
has to.
And welcome back to
Forget about he who must not be named. It's he who must never be named.
Yeah, you got that right. And welcome back to Geek Tank Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmstead and Allan Gilbraith, and our buddy Max over there behind the glass, the immortal Allan Gilbraith. If you're just tuning in, well, that too. We were talking about this season of Ahsoka.
I think you said immoral mushrooms.
Okay. Let's move
Let's
it
see if we
along.
can derail this segment anymore.
No kidding. We were talking about Ahsoka episode 4, speculating on episode 5, which it's shaping up to be something very interesting, and we'll be following that and reporting in next week.
I will say I agree with you on your Thrawn prediction.
Okay, good. So I'm starting to get some backing on that. So, okay. I'm not going to unpack that anymore. We'll just see if we're right. But speaking of interesting, you guys, I cannot wait to get to this discussion.
I'm not just talking about one person. I'm talking about everybody. I'm talking about form. I'm talking about content. I'm talking about interrelationships. I'm talking about God, the devil, hell, heaven. Do you understand? Finally!
You really never know what Max is going to pull out of his
Bag of
okay.
tricks. Yeah.
I do like that quote. That's from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, right? I believe it's something like that. Well, Random Roundup, if you are new to Geek Tank Radio, this is something we did years ago. I really think it's time. Maybe this could be good digital bonus content, Brandon,
Yeah,
I think.
yeah.
And
that's
Random
what I was
Roundup
saying.
is just what it sounds like. It is any subject is fair game, and we will bring it up. And usually there's some loosely geeky reference.
There are 3 caveats, 3 rules against it.
Okay.
Things you can't bring. You can't bring financial stuff because we don't want to make people bored.
Okay.
You can't bring up religious stuff because we don't want to make people angry. And you can't bring up politics for the same reason.
I think that's fair. I mean, I think that's
I mean,
those
were my rules for Random Roundup when we were elsewhere.
Yeah. But here we go, you guys. So this is breaking. Well, this is sort of breaking news. This story is about a week and a half
It's
old.
broke news.
It's broken news.
It's broken news.
However, it's part of an ongoing story, and the title alone caught my attention. It says Florida man, of course, attempts to cross the Atlantic Ocean in a human-sized hamster wheel. Well,
and
if
guys,
we didn't bring this up, we're not doing our job.
guys, you gotta post this to the Facebook page so people can see what this thing looked like.
So this is not this guy's first attempt. Let's give credit where credit is due. We're talking about a man named Reza Belushi, just not spelled exactly like John Belushi, but pronounced a lot like it. He's a 51-year-old. He's an immigrant from Iran, and this guy loves America. Right out of the gate, I love this guy.
All right.
He has got that can-do attitude. He dreams big, and his goal, for whatever reason, he loves to run. He's a world-class runner. I think it's funny that he's a runner from the country of Iran. I don't know. Something about that makes me laugh. But,
oh, my God. The dad jokes, they hurt, Joe. They hurt.
I just hear a flock of seagulls playing in my mind right now.
Yeah. But this guy has no engineering. Well, he's got a little, but no engineering training. Definitely no nautical experience. But he thinks the best idea for him to make his statement about, he wants to do this to expand peace in the world. I don't really know how this is going to happen, but for the last almost 10 years, he's been trying to construct a human-sized hamster wheel with fins on it that will be powered by him. He's going to start off in Florida. His attempt in 2021 was to get to Bermuda. He had modest goals there to paddle right through the Bermuda Triangle. And this guy's not kidding, Alan. He wants to do this. He just made another attempt, a week and a half ago, and he keeps being thwarted by the Coast Guard. For some reason, they don't want him to do this.
I can't imagine that, why this thing that looks like he made it out of leftover beach equipment.
Well, he's got basketballs. He's got volleyballs.
Yeah,
using
if
to
it's
float it.
inflatable and it'll float, he's kind of got it tied to this thing. All right, man, if I were on a resort and they had a lagoon, and for like $20 you could go run around in this thing and go play in the lagoon.
Yeah.
Dude, you're missing your calling, because I would so go do that. This thing looks like crazy. B, no, do not go play in the Atlantic.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Plain
factors.
and simple.
Yeah.
Just no.
I was just thinking, he should have modified it to look a little differently. There's this thing in World War II called a tandandrum. Allan, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
It's essentially his hamster wheel, but you have explosives rig on there so it moves for you rather than having to pedal it yourself.
Okay. Well, see, but he's a purist, Max. He's all about, this is going to be his accomplishment.
Okay, it'll be backup in case he faints from all the heat that he's exposed to.
Well, there's a lot of factors. Okay, for one thing, it is hot inside this thing.
Yes.
He doesn't know. It was funny. A boat pulled up to him about 4 days into his journey, and he said, "Hey, do you know how to get to Bermuda?" He doesn't have a compass.
No. He's just
This guy's just hoping for the best.
paddling for the best. And
They said it's about 120 degrees inside this thing.
Yes.
Your exercise. He's carrying water. He's even got a laptop in there where he can watch movies.
watch himself. Yeah.
But I mean, I love the guy's spirit. He is not a planner. The guy does not know anything about navigation.
No,
and
and this thing isn't going to navigate very well, and it's not going to go very far. And I admire the Coast Guard from keeping him from being recycled as bull shark food.
Well, this is the other
'Cause
thing.
Not good.
They said that the Coast Guard, they were talking about what a menace this is, and that it cost the public $140,000 to deal with this guy. Is that right? I mean,
Well, when you have
guess-
to do a rescue mission and go find this thing before it winds up sucked into an oil tanker,
yeah.
he didn't file a shipping plan. He's out just paddling around. Yeah, they're probably going to hit him with some federal charges this time.
Okay. Yeah. It's
sadly, but it's kind of like, guy, man, hang around a lagoon somewhere, rent this thing out. It'd be hilarious.
My only disappointment was there's not, at least at this point, there's hardly any news reports. I looked all over YouTube, and you get these little 30-second clips for the most recent one. However, I would highly recommend go back. He did a pretty good documentary, about 11 minutes long. It'll give you a good sense of who Reza Bellucci is, and it's on YouTube. You'll find it.
I think it's from the Vice channel or something.
Yeah, something like that. We might have a few parting thoughts, and then we're going to round things up when we come back here on Geek Tank Radio.
You're listening to Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max. David Hasselhoff's lawyers are waiting outside. The Geek Patrol is back.
Well, Brant, Allan, you really should have reined things in on that last concert, but
I know why.
Yeah.
The whole Florida man thing is he's suing for copyright because that's an episode of Baywatch.
Okay, I don't know. Allan was heckling him pretty good at that last performance, but anyway, we'll see how it
should
plays
have been
out.
singing Dunkashane.
Okay, and we'll come back to Geek Tank. We all love David Hasselhoff, of course.
It's the Hoff, man.
But as Allan learned, you don't hassle the Hoff. And welcome back to Geek Tank Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmstead and Allan Gilbreth and our buddy Max over there behind the glass. And if you're just tuning in, we're discussing Ahsoka, the episode 4 and 5. We're going to circle back to that in a minute too. We were talking about we were reintroducing the random roundup to the show, which is basically any topic we feel like discussing, including the Florida man who attempted to cross the Atlantic Ocean in a human-sized hamster wheel. And if you missed that, Allan, how do they go back and listen to our past shows? Because, we're not recapping
if
it
you
here.
desperately need some hamster wheel in your life, the best thing in the world to do is just go over to geektankradio.com, and you'll discover that, A, you can take us with you, and B, that we're on Spotify and YouTube as podcast or wherever you get your podcast. And the other great thing about it is you can binge us.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
honestly years of content waiting for your of listening pleasure.
Absolutely. And Brandon, as you said, some shows age better than others based on what predictions we had or what was going on in the world at the time. So
Hey, nothing's funnier than failure.
there you go. All right. So off air, Brandon, you told me that we're going to kind of circle back because really next week is going to be noteworthy. I mean, it's not every day you get a TV show doing a theatrical release. So we're expecting big things out of this episode.
Not since, Game of Thrones was still popular.
Did they do that?
The Alamo Drafthouse used to do weekly airings of Game of Thrones.
Oh, okay. That's not nationwide or worldwide,
No.
though. This is. You said there's also other theaters around the world that are doing this, right?
Yeah,
So okay, but you had a few things you wanted to chime in with to see if we can. My big prediction was that Thrawn is hiding out in the Milky Way galaxy. It's not like they're going to call it that, and it might be very subtle, but I predict somehow he's in the Milky Way galaxy.
Yeah, knowing our luck, he's in Rishi Maze, which is what neither one of us predicted.
Okay, so what is that?
Rishi Maze is the closest galaxy to the main galaxy in Star Wars.
Okay.
It's a great place to hide, but they don't really have a whole lot there to play with.
Well, then why would they send him there?
He got exiled, Joe. It's not like he chose where he was going.
Okay, but so
somebody pulled the handle, there was a flushing sound, and he popped up over there.
Yeah.
Here's something
He doesn't have what is necessary to create a galaxy jumping hyperspace ring.
Well, here's what I'm wondering. What if he's already, in the time he's been gone, what if he's already organized his own army? What if he comes back with a whole fleet of these people from other galaxies and stuff like that? And what if he doesn't even want to come back?
They're not putting that into. They're not worried about that.
What makes Thrawn a
taking him
fascinating
back.
character to me, though, is he's doing it all for the sake of his fellow members of the Chiss Ascendancy. The members of his species.
Right. No, he's good. And you could even we've even made the case in the past, Brandon. You could say, in some points of view, he's not even a villain, even though he's a diehard with the Empire, but he sees that as the best way to keep order. He's not like necessarily a dictator, and he uses violence very strategically. He's not. I don't think he's sadistic or anything. I just think he's very strategic.
So you're basing that mainly on the Thrawn you met in Rebels.
Well, no, even in the novel, because I read. Gosh, that's a big book too. But he didn't strike me as actually. He made in some situations he made him kind of sympathetic. I don't know.
The fact that you will easily turn to fascism if I give you a good argument, Joe, it worries me.
No, that's not. No, that you're not going to draw me down that. No, I'm just saying that what makes a lot of characters interesting, just like I said with Thanos, from his own point of view, he is the biggest hero in the galaxy. So.
Well, again, in the MCU, Thanos, yes.
Right.
The actual Marvel Comics Thanos, he just wants to kill a bunch of people to impress Death because he's in love with her.
Okay.
He did it for a girl, people. He didn't do it for any kind of justice.
That's like Davy Jones from Pirates of the Caribbean. He did it for Calypso.
There you go.
Oh, is that? That's so forgettable to me. The first one was great, but yeah,
Well, the
Allan,
first one is because of Calypso.
Allan, do you have a prediction? Did you give us one, or did you give us a?
I think it is. It's not so much predictions as it is. If I start running my mouth, you're going to look at me and go, "Oh, well, you ruined episode 6 and 7," because it's a very predictable setup according to the MCU how this now has to go. Of 5 is going to be your. You always have your intro, your complicating incident. Then you have your sandbag, your reveal, your height of action. And then you have a diminishing return prologue. So we've got to, in 5, really do the payoffs. And then after that, we're going to do the setup. Episode 6 will be the setup for the other series and or movies. And the last episode is always the cleanup, the mop up, and the blatant attempt to get you to watch something else.
Well, we know that. I mean,
that's pretty much it.
Informed consumers. I just thought maybe you had a prediction, like maybe about Sabine.
I'm just perfectly fine if this kind of sets up the heir to the Empire arc rather than what the sequels gave us.
Yeah, I don't want to hear any more about clones and Palpatine coming back or any of that. But I guess they have to. I mean, they've already established that as
we've
part of
already
their
got
thing.
all that in play, but now we can begin to hopefully explore the post Skywalker world,
Yeah.
and go have a little fun in the entire Star Wars universe.
Right. So, well, regardless, it's going to be an interesting week, and I wonder what next week's Geek Tank episode is going to sound like because, well, for one thing, we're gonna
it's gonna sound
have
a
red,
lot
glowy
louder.
eyes.
we're gonna be broadcasting from the Cooper Young Festival, which
We
will be
are.
fun. So check it out. If you go to the Cooper Young Festival, go to the corner of Cooper and Young and come say hello to us. We're gonna be there with our tent, promoting things and giving away swag. So, and also stay tuned because there's some bonus content coming up today on Geek Tank Radio. But it's time to get out of here, you guys. Interesting show, but the clock waits for no one. So until next week, we are the Geek Patrol, and I am Joe Thorderson.
I'm Allan Gilbreth.
I'm Maximilian.
And I am Brandon Olmsted, hoping to hyperspace directly to the Cooper Young Festival so I don't have to deal with these people the rest of the week.